Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and today it's time for another instalment of my junk journal swap. So just in case you haven't seen one of these videos before, I'm in an Aussie craft group and it just so happens there's a few of us that love junk journaling. So this is I think our third year. We get given a partner. We have to create a specific item or items and send them off to our partner, and they can choose the theme that they want their pieces to be at. So what we're doing for the first half of this year, we're doing something a little bit different. In the past, it's been actual ephemera that we stick in a journal that we have made ourselves. But this one, with inspiration from Pink Monarch prints, we are making actual journal pages. So in this case, we'll be doing 2 today, front and back. And then we send it off to our partner. And when we've got all our swaps done by the middle of the year, we will punch our own holes so that we get them all exactly the same size, because there is actually a few different sizes of hole punches. And we'll be joining them together with these simple rings. But of course, if you don't want to do the base bit, you could use the decoration that I'm about to show you and put it down on a normal junk journal page that you happen to be working in. Now, of course, so for that very reason, don't get hung up about the sizes. I'll give you the sizes that I've sort of done, but don't get hung up about them because, first of all, I have to sort of leave about a 1/2 inch clearance here for where the holes are going to be punched. So you don't want a big, thick, heavy envelope or anything right over on this edge. So what it does mean is I have quite a small piece of real estate to work with. So while this is all very cute, if you have a bigger journal page, then just make up the sizes as you go along. Please don't stress about size. But it's all pretty straightforward, but this one, especially the next one that I will do in the next video, has quite a few elements, and honestly, they would look fabulous in any journal. So just to start with, I've done everything with cardstock from my stash because these are going to be the actual pages. I didn't want them too flimsy. So I just raided my stash. Luckily, the lady I am swapping with, her theme is garden. So that made it pretty easy. Garden and garden animals, but no snakes. Oh, I tell you what, I was tempted to sneak a little snake in somewhere, but no, I won't do that. I'll be nice. But let's get started now. Just one thing also before I forget, I have already cut out all my pieces. You don't need to see and sit and watch me cut out 20,000 pieces of bits and pieces. So I have cut all mine and I have inked my edges because what I'm using is not that vintage as a rule, but a lot of junk journalers do sort of love that vintage look. So I have already done all my edges with my little dauber, and this time I used brushed corduroy instead of vintage photo, just, for something different. So as I said, to speed things up, I've already prepped everything. I'll just run you through the actual putting together of stuff. So what we're doing is this will be one page and then this will be the next. So we'll start on this side, just so I get things in the right spot, because this will actually be an edge of a journal page. Some of the things, if you put them on the wrong side, they're not going to open and close properly. So must make sure I focus on that. So now this part, this one little bit is not necessary for anyone, but because this is such a beautiful but very busy print, I wanted to provide a little bit of tone down. So I just grabbed a piece of a page from a flora and fauna book that I had in my stash, and I'm going to place this on here. But as I said, you don't have to do this. This little bit was just something I've chosen to do because I just feel it is very, very busy. So I'm just going to grab my little, I keep all my junk journal magazine newspaper things that come locally, and that's what I use as a glue book. I hate using good pages from a book to glue with, so I just use these, and when they're all cluggy and clunked together, then I throw them in the recycle bin. So we're just going to place that there. Again, it doesn't matter exactly where, but I might just have got to remember my little, my little measurement down here, sort of leaving that free, even though punching a hole through this is not going to make it any more difficult. This is quite a thin piece of paper. So that's where we're starting. Then the next thing, I want to add this little piece of ephemera here. I just wanted something, and I'm thinking 1, 2, 3 holes, but I could sort of put this here and it should stay out of harm's way with the old hole thing. But again, this is just a cutout from a magazine, so it's nice thin paper, so I can't see it causing too much trauma. But if we place it up here, I feel it should be out of the way. Just wanted a little something, and I've picked this sort of dark coloured moth. Just again, it's contrast. You can see it quite clearly even though it has such a bright background. Then the next thing is our first piece of ephemera for this project, and I have to create a little tuck spot arrangement. So if you're interested in exact sizes, I started off with a 2 5/8 square. Now, I am doing all this in inches because some of it just gets too difficult to do it in centimetres. So even though we're Aussies and we use centimetres here, I've actually done virtually all of this in inches, with the exception of this bit. 2 5/8 inches literally did my head in. So I used my double-sided ruler that has inches on one side and centimetres on the other to figure out it was 6.66 centimetres or 6.98 something, whatever. But honestly, 2 5/8 got me. I'm okay with 2 1/4 and 2 1/2, but oh my golly gosh, that one got me. So I went, okay. So 6.66 centimetres roughly is a square. Then, of course, we need these round bits. So I literally got out my old-fashioned compass, found the halfway point, and then drew circles. If you don't have a compass, go and find yourself a glass or something like that that's roughly that measurement, and then just move the glass up or down. If they're a little smaller or bigger, honestly, it won't make any difference, but a glass or a little cup or something will also do the job. I just went, look, I think the easiest way is to do this with a compass. So that's what I did. Then the next thing we're going to do is we need to add some eyelets here because this is going to tie up closed. So I've just got to make sure I just sort of wanted, this one is the correct way up. This is upside down, but it almost looks like the correct way up. So I just want to make sure I'm doing it and not these two, because I didn't like these two as much. So that's just me being pedantic. Now we need to add eyelets, and oh, look, I always get scared when I have to do this. I honestly don't know why. It's really not, it shouldn't be that difficult, but I always panic when I'm making these. So here we go. We'll have a little practice run. Then sort of roughly in the middle. I should have probably marked it dead center, but you know what? I didn't. So I'm not doing that now. And then we're going to grab some little, whoops, doovie thingies. You know these things, eyelets, whatever they're called. And pop that through there. And then how do we do this again? I always forget which is the right way to do this, but we're going to, I think this is how we do it. Or is it this way? You see, this thing, I haven't used it that much, and I always worry about the right way around. And I think I might have botched this one up. Hang on a minute. Yep, I've probably done this the wrong way around. Let's just gently nudge this up and off. So what did I do wrong? I must have put this in the wrong way around. That's okay. I'm going to grab a spare and I will be back. Let's try it this way. Right, there we go. I held my breath as I did them, but they are done. So, thankfully, that part is over. I don't know why I hate this that much, but I do, because I did it the wrong way round, and I always forget which is the correct way, and I don't do them often enough, but that's okay. One thing I want to do before we adhere this, I found this little piece in my stash. I was just going to put a little piece of lined paper in there because this will become a little hidden journaling spot. So I found this very cute little notes thing, which is sort of a perfect fit. So I'm just going to glue that down lightly. There we go. So now we have a cute little hidden journaling spot. And then we are going to adhere this down. But, oh, see, that's a little bit crooked. Oh, never mind. You know what? It's okay. These things happen, and don't get paranoid about it. It's not worth it. We are not going to glue down this side here. So I'm going to hold my finger here on purpose so that I don't put glue down there. And we're going to make a little tuck spot out of this. So our top bit is going down here, and I'm going to put it sort of just over to the edge. There we go. Oh, look, I've got all sorts of twines and ribbons and laces and things in my stash. I buy all these things from op shops. Half the time I don't use them, but I decided this was perfect for this, to tie this little cutie up. And it's not too thick, which is also ideal. There we go. So there's our first bit, and we now have this pocket here, so we need something to put in it. So I grabbed another piece from my stash, and I have made a long sort of tag. Now, I didn't write the measurements on the back of this one, so let's grab the ruler. Again, measurements really don't matter. You can make this as long as you like. So we've got 6 inches by about 2 1/4. And then just for fun, I've just cut out a little circle, inked the edges, and does this sort of have a right way and a wrong way? Oh, you can't really see the writing on there, so that's okay. We're just going to place some glue at the bottom and pop that on there. Making sure there's no glue sticking there before we pop it in. And then in goes the journaling card. And I made this quite long, so I've got just this little bit sticking over the edge. And then I also found this very cute piece in my stash. Is a little hedgehog. So I've just tied a little bit of twine on there, and I'm going to pop him in there as well. And that is our first side all done. See, that wasn't too hard, but I think it's very cute. Would look great in any journal. So the next thing we need to do is we are going to make a couple of pockets. This one's actually going to be a flap. We need this to be, now I've written this down, this is 4 inches by 4 3/4. Then you have about 1/2 inch where you fold it over and score that down. And I also trimmed the edge off here, just, so the little point doesn't poke out there. And we're going to glue this down as a flap. So we'll start with this piece, very simple. And then you just cut it on whatever angle you like. Again, don't get hung up on sizes. This is all easy and it can be any size you want. And we're going to go pretty close to the edge. Then we have another one, and this one is 4 3/4 by 4 as well, except because this is not dead on. Oh, I just realised I didn't tell you. My main page that I am working on is 8 inches by 7 1/2. Now this bit will make sense. I cut it a little bit less than 4 inches because this is not dead on the edge. If this was a true 4 inches, it would end up sticking over the edge a bit. And of course, we don't want that. So I did it just under, maybe, I don't know, tiny little bit, just so that it fits onto the page. Now, I do appreciate that when this goes down, you'll have to put a hole through it, but it's okay. It's just one extra piece of cardstock. I'm sure the average hole punch can get through there. And then we're just going to glue this down too. And then we're going to nestle that right in there. And then see how nicely it fits along this edge. So you can see where I was coming from. Now, one thing I've just noticed, because this is a flap, I think I really need to ink those edges. So I'll do that later and I'll gently rub out those measurements. But just so you can see what we're doing here, going to add another couple of little pockets as decoration for this. So we'll start with the front one. I just cut out a little pocket. Again, this is a really good scrap buster, all these little bits. This is 2 1/2 by 2 inches, and I used my circle punch to cut out my little shape. And we're going to place that down the bottom here. And just as a little bit of added decoration, I found this little scrap in my stash. So we're going to glue this down. Obviously use the other part of this in another project. And this is why I keep all my funny little scraps. You just never know when you need a cute little bit. And I've also got a teeny weeny tiny little label here, which we're also going to add. No, not that way. That's upside down. Let's not do that. We're just going to pop that on there. Then I found this in my stash and I thought this was perfect. Loved this pink butterfly. I just had a piece of pink raffia. This came tied around a gift. I never throw those sort of things out. And I've just stapled it down. And just a little thing, what I do with staples, because usually they're silver and they're boring, before I put my staplers in my stapler, I get a permanent marker, a Sharpie. I've got a gold one and a bronze one, and I use the Sharpie to paint the tops of my staples. So this actually then has a gold tone rather than that glaring silver. Sometimes I do them in copper coloured too, just for fun. But just piece of FYI. And then let's pop this cute little butterfly in there. And then we need to head inside, and we're going to add another little pocket down here. So this again was just another little scrap, but keeping with the Flutterby theme. And then I found this very cute little postcard and this cute little clock to put inside, which I thought matched well with that. And then I've got this another little very long thin tag, which I'm going to add on here as well, just for a little bit of extra interest. You don't have to do all these little fiddly bits if you're not interested in that, but I like doing those sort of things. We're just going to pop that right down there on the edge. And then we have the cutest little postcard to put in our pocket. If I can lift this pocket up. There we go. And I thought the little clock was just too cute. It's funny little things you have in your stash. This is a great way to use them up. So in my stash, I had a collection of these very pretty journaling cards. Beautiful roses. This is very pretty. And because it's lighter in colour, I've decided that's the perfect addition for my back pocket. See, it stands out beautifully. And it's got writing on it, which sort of matches this front bit, even though that was quite accidental. Except by the looks of things, I think I just put it in upside down. I think it needs to go that way. Anyway, all good. So that's this project complete. Now, if you want to see all the other things I've made, plus the 2 years prior, and just want some great ideas for creating ephemera for junk journals, if you go to my playlist, Creative Collab Journal, every video, including making journals and a ton of ephemera, is all sitting in that playlist, as well of course as the pieces I've made previously for this year. So if you're ever short of ideas and you want some, that's the place to go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Pop them down in the comments box below. And in my next video, we'll do the next edition, which is the next 2 pages. Now, of course, the only thing I still have to do is I need to glue these 2 together, because this then becomes 2 pages. That's why your cardstock can be single printed side. You're not going to see any of this because we're going to glue all this together, but I'll do that after I've taken a photo for my video. So I will glue that later on. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.